A somber morning in Oklahoma City as Oklahomans pause to remember 168 lives lost and those who survived the Alfred P. Murrah building bombing 29 years ago. The city held a remembrance ceremony at the Oklahoma City National Memorial and Museum, and at 9:02 a.m. they observed 168 seconds of silence, one second for each person who was killed in the attack.
May Americans pay heed to the lessons of April 19th, 1995, and may we as the people of Oklahoma City always be the first to carry that message.
Evil took the lives of 168 individuals and injured hundreds more. But we looked evil in the eye and we came together as one Oklahoma. Our people banded together in a manner unique to Oklahoma. That legacy lives on.
168 men, women, and children were killed. 19 were children. It was the deadliest act of homegrown terrorism in American history. Two former U.S. Army soldiers, Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols, were convicted of the attack. Flags statewide are at half-staff today in remembrance of the victims. Welcome to News 12 Now for this Friday, April 19th. I'm Annette Campbell, and thank you so much for joining us today. Brady Blackstock joins us as well, and we were just talking about that big day. We were both here and remember it very clearly. In fact, you were in Oklahoma at the time.
Oh yeah, I was just right north of Oklahoma City up in Edmond. I was in elementary school at the time, but yeah, I mean, you always remember that and the continuous news coverage throughout and just the image of the building kind of scarred in my memory.
Definitely a day to remember, and for all of them. And
oh yeah, families. And I mean, I know people who were directly affected by it back in Oklahoma City. So yeah, it's I've been, we always pause to remember it on April 19th, especially just growing up in Oklahoma. But pretty somber outside as well with these overcast skies. It's pretty gray out there. We're not expecting any rain clouds yet, but they will be around the corner on Saturday. But take a look outside and you can see on our TMC tower cam the overcast skies. Now we do have cooler air underneath and plenty of clouds moving in on satellite and radar, but no storms to speak of. We had a few last night, thankfully non-severe, but temperatures right now a lot lower than they were yesterday. Yesterday we made it up to the 80s, and now some areas are struggling just to even get to 60 degrees right now this afternoon, especially along I-35. I see Ardmore at 57, 61 here in Sherman-Denison. Winds still out of the north after that cold front, but the wind speeds have come down significantly from yesterday, where we were seeing 20 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts, and now hardly seeing any wind gusts reported at all, just a 20 up in Sulphur where it's fairly windy there on any given day. Day planner for the rest, still going to be overcast. No rain tonight. That's going to change as we go into Saturday. Futurecast super high res showing we're expecting some storms starting to pop up early in the morning, right around sunrise. So I'll be around to keep an eye on those. But coming up a little bit later, we're going to go into more detail for tomorrow's rain and when we can see rain again next week.
All right. Thanks, Brady. A cyber attack on a small West Texas town's water system is confirmed to be linked to Russian hackers. The city manager of Muleshoe says hackers got into the water system back in January. He says the water wasn't contaminated and the issue was addressed and solved. KAMC's Cameron Mendoza spoke with people who live there who say this is concerning.
I didn't know anything about it at all until today.
Muleshoe residents caught off guard, learning Wednesday morning their town's water system had been hacked back in January, causing a nearby water tank at this facility to overflow.
This small town had a vulnerability that was able to be leveraged. Threat actors look for vulnerabilities, they try to cause some pain, and then they try to either leverage money, hold you hostage, ransomware, do those things. That's their typical motivation for this. But our critical infrastructure is under attack now more so than ever, whether that be water, energy, power.
Michael Strong with Blue Layer Technology says these hackers search for cracks in systems across the country.
That's why updating, patching, having strong cybersecurity posture is critical and really important in this case. That would depend on, a relationship of any city or anybody that has this type of equipment. To what extent is it maintained and updated? There's often a lot of oversight related to this type of equipment, where oftentimes it's not updated because it's not really thought about that much.
This resident in Muleshoe, who wanted to remain anonymous, says she heard about the hack the same way everyone else did, online.
A lot of times, you think when you're in a smaller town, you're safe, and that just proves you're not. That just proves that those can be targets just as easy as the big cities.
Strong says hacks like these becoming all too common and recommends everyone should beef up security.
Just having one piece of software and assuming that you're good and protected 15 years ago might have been okay. Today, that's not the case. You need a variety of platforms and services to improve your cybersecurity posture in order to best protect your business, your city, your municipality, whatever that may be.
Well, with the crazy weather that's happening tomorrow, the Recycle Earth Day Festival held tomorrow will be canceled, but thankfully the bad weekend weather won't affect the Marietta High School's horticulture students who were busy prepping for their second annual plant sale today. Students spent the school year learning how to carefully tend to more than 4,000 plants in their greenhouse, raising them from seedlings and transplants. Marietta senior Jalen Hartman says the funds raised from the sale will help their horticulture program buy new plants for next year.
I'm really excited. We've been working in the greenhouse since August, since we came to school, and we've slowly started getting in shipments and seeds and really taking care of these plants and growing them to our best abilities.
The annual plant sale began at 9 o'clock this morning at the Marietta FFA greenhouse, so hurry up there and get yours. As many of us are reminiscing about the spectacular eclipse that moved through Texoma last week, the Oklahoma Department of Tourism has calculated the number of visitors and their economic impact on southern Oklahoma. News 12's Hannah Gonzalez breaks it down.
While Oklahomans in the path to totality had the leisure of viewing the solar eclipse from their backyard, many visitors came from out of state and even out of the country to view this natural event.
Words don't do it justice.
The Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department says from just 7 southeastern Oklahoma state parks alone, they saw more than 122,000 visitors.
We had 3 in totality: Beavers Bend, Talamina, and Worcester. And then we had 4 that were kind of right at the edge of totality at 98%. Lake Texoma, obviously, Lake Murray, Robbers Cave, and McGee Creek.
One man found the eclipse a perfect time to get down on one knee.
We actually had someone get engaged during the eclipse in totality, so that was super neat.
From April 4th through the 9th, visitors generated $15 million for the parks.
And Beavers Bend was sold out for months leading up. All the campgrounds, the lodge, all the cabins.
The department estimates visitor activity brought an economic impact of $42 million in the region.
A thing a lot of people don't realize is tourism is actually Oklahoma's 3rd largest industry. In 2022, the last year we have numbers for, we brought in $11.8 billion in direct visitor spending. That's billion with a B.
Whether there's an eclipse to view or not.
It's great, cheap family fun to get the kids off those video games, stop them from watching TV, get outside and let them have fun in nature and maybe trick them into learning a little bit.
Reporting, Hannah Gonzalez, News 12.
Now, along with Oklahoma, Netflix is also seeing a growth in its revenue. Although it might not be for a reason you like, the company says its password crackdown has netted it millions more customers and boosted profits. The streaming service says it's gained about 30 million new customers last year alone as a result of blocking password sharing outside of the household and new ad-based options. The company also reports a gain of 9.3 million subscribers in the first quarter of 2024. Netflix says it will stop sending quarterly reports on subscriber totals starting next year, as it looks to focus more on financial growth tracking instead. Investigators are looking into a close call at one of America's busiest airports. A JetBlue flight from Washington to Boston began to take off yesterday at the same time a Southwest jet was trying to cross the same runway. As Chris Van Cleve reports, the 2 planes were stopped just in time.
Air traffic controllers at Washington's Reagan National Airport quickly stepped in Thursday when they discovered 2 planes potentially on a collision course on the same runway. The FAA says around 7:41 in the morning, Southwest Flight 2937 was instructed to cross runway 4, even though JetBlue Flight 1554 had started its takeoff roll.
We stopped. We were cleared to cross runway 4.
And we're stopped.
Both planes stopped moments before a potential collision. JetBlue's said no one was injured and the plane was inspected before ultimately taking off for Boston several hours later.
Southwest 29 to 37, continue across runway 4.
The Southwest flight was permitted to cross the runway minutes after the incident and landed in Orlando ahead of schedule. The FAA is investigating.
The FAA will be looking at exactly what error was committed here. If both pilots would not have stopped, this could have ended up being a very bad situation.
Both airlines are working with investigators, and the National Transportation Safety Board says it's gathering information on the incident. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, New York.
Well, that's all for this afternoon's News 12 Now. Be sure to tune into News 12 at 5, 6, and 10 tonight for a complete wrap of what happened today in Texoma and beyond. Thanks for watching and have a great day.